odds to win the series have changed pretty drastically. The Lakers were a significant favorite on their home floor heading into Game 1. They took a lead in the eyes of Vegas after winning Game 2, but now it is the Timberwolves who are significant favorites in this one as they grab the victory on their home floor. Some more context on the win tonight. The Timberwolves grab a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series for the 5th time in the history of the franchise. They won each of the last 3 in this spot. The lone series loss came against the Lakers, but it was in 2003. That might as well have been 1,000 years ago. Speaking of the Lakers, they've won 7 of 7. They've won 7 best-of-7 series, I should say, when they trailed 2-1. That's the 3rd most all-time. Last time LA came back from down 2-1, that famous Derek Fisher buzzer beater against San Antonio. The win also extends the home winning streak for the Wolves to 6, the longest since the end of 23. The Lakers have now dropped 8 consecutive playoff games on the road, which ties the 2nd longest streak in team history. My man, Kendrick Perkins, joins me on a Friday night to talk a little Lakers Timberwolves. I want to start in the paint where you did all your heavy lifting back in the day, right? Both on defense and on offense. Minnesota had more than a 2-1 advantage in points in the paint, Perk. I asked Jaden about a point of emphasis. He said it straight up. They don't have any rim protectors. We're gonna attack. I don't see how LA fixes this moving forward.
And that needs to be their recipe, Scott. They need to go out there and they need to attack and they need to make sure that they own the paint. Tonight they did that, right? Get on the glass, and I thought Julius Randle, Jay McDaniels, they set the tone early, and then all of a sudden we saw Anthony Edwards start getting downhill, and the spacing was right. That was key as well. But when they catch and go, they're so hard to guard. And so when I look at how they got this win, they started playing inside out, and then the threes, they started making those down the stretch, especially Anthony Edwards. But when they're attacking and playing with pace and owning the paint against a Lakers team that is trying to go small, the advantage favors the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, Perk, I saw you rip your ear out. I didn't know how I could yell. I'm going to give you a minute to get your ear in. Can you hear me? You got me?
I can hear you, Scott.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Oh,
hold on. Take your time. It's fine. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. We'll let Perk get his ear in. And when he gets his ear in, you take your time. All right, here. You take your time with that. And I'll give some folks at home a little bit more context on this. In the last 20 years, you see that when the Lakers fall behind in a series 2-1, that has not been a recipe for them to succeed. So, Perk, you can hear me again. You mentioned about Ant. Like we just showed it in the highlight. Last 4 minutes in the tie game, and the man flips a switch. I said before the series started when we had Brian Windhorst on, I realized the star power on the Lakers side, but there was a much greater than none chance that at the end of this series, Anthony Edwards could be the biggest star in it. It seemed kind of crazy when I said it, but I don't feel so silly saying it now. What are we looking at with this young man and his evolution in the game?
Oh, it wasn't crazy, Scott. Now, look, he's young, but he has an old soul. And I said this last year, Anthony Edwards is the best young leader in today's game. What we saw him let others get involved in the first, second, and third quarter, and when it was time for him to take over, he did just that. Came up clutch with crucial buckets, playing with the passion, the leadership, his confidence, being contagious to have others play with confidence. Right now we're watching Julius Randle play with a certain type of edge. He's finally feeling involved, and now you're looking at it, and it's not just the 29 points he had 8 rebounds, Scott, 8 assists, making guys around him better. Man, look, the sky is the limit for this young man. He has no ceiling. But again, tonight was one of those performances where you look at Anthony Edwards and you like, he is the future. And I'm going to tell you this, Scott. He tastes blood.
Yeah,
and the Lakers, they better get their rest because they're going to be in trouble. An early afternoon game on Sunday favors the Minnesota Timberwolves, especially with the amount of work a senior citizen like LeBron James had to put in tonight.
Well, he was outrageous, and I asked Daniels about it, who's nothing but 24. And I want to ask you about him because you mentioned Randle. I'm glad you did. He was excellent. We've seen him play at an all-star level. Ant's an Olympian. We know he's on that level of rare talents. But when Nas is going to make threes big-time threes like everyone he looks at. And McDaniels goes for 30. Like, that's a really bad recipe, but they're capable of that, Perk. This doesn't feel like some kind of one-off deal. In fact, it's happened twice in 3 games.
And look, Scott, this is not new to Jay McDaniels. Think about it. He had his moments last year when they went to the Western Conference Finals. So he's not afraid of the moment. And if they're going to disrespect him and leave him open for wide open, uncontested corner threes, he's capable of making that. He's also gotten better for taking guys off the dribble, off of closeouts. And Scott, he grew over this past season. Like, literally, he was 6'7", 6'8". Now he's about 6'10", 6'11". And so I got to give him a lot of props, because when you look at guys around the league and we talk about two-way players, he is one of the elites around the league when it comes down to defending the other team's best player, and then you're able to go out there and get 30 in the same time. That is growth, and that is something special.
And that's an appetite. That's all about wanting to do it on the other end. That's the first thing he said to me. He takes great pride in that. I'm going to take on whoever the best is and go get 30 on the other end. This is, look, it's only one night, but this Minnesota team is playing, like you said, with an edge, and it's a monster game coming up for the Lakers on short rest. Perk, appreciate you. Enjoy your Friday night, all right?
Thank you, Scott. You too.
I'll do it. JJ Redick on the wrong end of this one. It was tied, and then it wasn't. He sat down with his thoughts on the Lakers falling short.
I mean, I think it was across the board, and it wasn't just him. We couldn't contain the ball tonight. Our closeouts in the first quarter were god-awful, and I thought we did a better job in the second quarter, and then he just got into the teeth of our defense too much. You know, the fact is we don't have, you know, quote-unquote rim protection, and so if you give up blow-bys, we're going to give up something. We're going to give up a three, or we're going to give up a shot from him at the rim. You know, so again, he ended up with 29 on 26 shots. I think the playmaking was there again tonight, like it was in game one. You know, I think some of that we did make it tough on him. Then you had McDaniels just absolutely kill us.
JJ, what did you make of LeBron's performance in the first half? He surpassed his individual game 1 and game 2 scoring output, but just doing everything on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he's moving better. He seems like he's getting healthier by the day. You know, it's typically a 1 to 2 week injury, and you know he's I believe it's been 2 weeks tonight, if I'm not mistaken, from the Houston game. So clearly he's moving better.
JJ, how can you guys, you mentioned the lack of rim protection. I mean, McDaniels in particular, right, like, seemed to be even more focused on it. I think he said something after game 1. Does that work have to be done on the perimeter? How can you guys be better at the rim, knowing kind of the size limitations that